Have you ever looked back at relationships and wondered, how did I let those obvious red flags slide? Let me break this down to you in a nerdy, sciencey kind of way because it wasn't your fault. You weren't being stupid or oblivious to the red flags. You were just flooded. And these butterflies and this body chemistry is actually blocking you from seeing them. Your brain is literally wired to let red flags slide in the beginning. They slide under the radar for the same reason I always say. Keep a 90-day probationary period in any relationship because your internal chemistry is going crazy and it's blinding you to this reality. So here's how it works. Okay, so dopamine is hyping you up before you even know who this person is. You don't really know who you're dealing with yet, but your body is like, yes. So you don't actually know if this person is right for you or if they just look great on paper. And that irresistible ooey gooey feeling, it's just all chemistry. It's really just your dopamine just pumping hard. That euphoria and the butterflies and the obsession, it's all a chemical play in the brain. And the dopamine doesn't care if this person is emotionally available or ready to commit. The body just wants that hit. So the validation, the attention, the fantasy of what could be, it's all flooding you with this dopamine. In fact, dopamine will have you craving the person who is inconsistent, hot and cold, and breadcrumbing you because they give you the biggest dopamine spike when they finally reach out. So your brain starts prioritizing that rush over the red flags. So instead of noticing something is off, it feeds on the love bombing and the early fireworks. You weren't stupid, you were just high. Too high to see the flags that were waving right in front of your face. You were just in reward-seeking mode and you missed the turn. So let's go deeper. How does this go from attraction to obsession? So as the dopamine spikes, your serotonin drops. And the serotonin is the stuff that governs your impulse control, your rational thought, and your mood regulation. These all sound really important to finding a partner. So when I say it wasn't your fault, I mean it. You were flying high on possibility without the ability to actually think straight. In that state, every glance, every touch feels like a sexy reward. So here, you're ungrounded, you're obsessed, and you're fully lit up over someone who might just be a flimsy idea. And what about those deep bonding moments? Ever find yourself in those long, vulnerable conversations and suddenly you think like, this could be it. I could do this forever. That's oxytocin flooding your system. That's the bonding hormone. And here's the kicker. Oxytocin also doesn't care if the person is safe, available, or emotionally aligned. It only cares about proximity and repetition. Now you're emotionally bonded to someone who hasn't even earned that level of intimacy with you. It doesn't matter if they're the best human alive because you just don't know that yet. You have to wait for the chemicals to settle before you can evaluate what is really happening between you guys. And this is why chemistry is so tricky. Early love is electric, right? It's great. But that chemistry, it's not a shared chemistry. Each person can be in their own space. It's your chemistry. That's why one person can be all in while the other person is barely present. So when you say we have great chemistry, what you mean is I'm feeling my chemistry. And the bottom line, as the chemical storm starts to settle, that's usually around the 3-month mark, the 90-day mark, the red flags and the potholes become much more visible. So early love is a thrill ride, but don't confuse it for a solid foundation. Don't start future building with someone who hasn't earned that place. You don't want to get stuck in chasing potential. You also don't want to get stuck where maybe you are all high on chemicals and you've made some promises, maybe some long-term promises, and now you really can't keep them. So just ride the wave, enjoy the thrill, but don't buy the surfboard. And that's what conscious dating really looks like. Because your hormones are not good matchmakers. But clarity is, and discernment is, and knowing what you really need from a partner, that's gold. That's what I help women uncover. Because you need to ask yourself, what am I subconsciously seeking? What are these needs that I'm actually trying to fill with this connection? And this is why you need a guide. Someone to help you decode the kind of person who's truly aligned for the life that you love and you desire. What are you looking for? Because you can't just go after the attractive person. Yeah, that hot person is probably not going to be the perfect mate for you. Sometimes they are, but you have to know what you need inside before you can make that determination. We're not just looking for warm bodies to cuddle with here. We want compatibility. We want emotional safety. We want depth and intimacy from our partners because we're adults and we want adult relationships. If you want something that you've never really had, you have to approach love in a way that you never really have. And that's what I help you with. And we're going to just take small steps till we get there, because it's not a fast process, and it's not just like, oh, this is what I need. You have to dig in and you have to really understand yourself at the most authentic level. And unfortunately, because of trauma that we've been through or experiences that we've been through, there's a lot of layers on top of that. There are a lot of walls that we've built up. So getting really under that depth is where we start. So get out there with your sexy self, live in the magic of life, and I say spread the love. I love you guys.